Hey everyone, Pushing Up Roses here, and welcome to a very unique episode of That Time on Murder, She Wrote. Several weeks ago, I came across a very intriguing tweet/distress signal. Murder, She Wrote Season 9, Episode 9. I don't understand what I just saw. I need your help. Well, Mike, I'm here to explain this episode to you, called A Christmas Secret. Yes, there's a Christmas episode, and by Christmas episode, I mean that Santa shoots someone. The secret is that Santa is a cold-blooded killer. Tough break. Even though I know I've seen every episode of this show, sometimes 3 or 4 times over, I somehow could not recall this one, making it more enjoyable for me to watch because it felt like I was experiencing something new, though in reality, it was probably just so mid that I filed it into the dark recesses of my brain. This episode is slightly different than any other in the entire series, so stick around to the end, it's gonna get bonkers. It's a Cabot Cove holiday party, and boy do I not recognize a single character. I'm not even really sure how they all know each other or what Jess's relationship is with them. We just get thrown into this random person's house where everyone just looks thrilled to be there. We are introduced to several characters, newly engaged, Beth and Charlie, some random woman named Amy who works in the town's hardware store, some dude named Bert, and Floyd Bigelow. Oh my god, Floyd?
Sheriff!
Our favorite Murder, She Wrote deputy?
And Floyd?
Oh, that's not Floyd. Actually, Floyd the deputy isn't in this episode because then there would be too many Floyds, so instead we get Andy, who is frankly not as good. The owner of the local hardware store, Floyd, is busy making out with Wanda in front of these 2 freakishly ugly paintings. They join the others just as Beth opens her engagement ring from Charlie, though for a second I thought she was opening a package of Philadelphia cream cheese. Wanda asks Floyd why nobody buys her pretty jewelry, and he asks, "Well, do you really deserve it?" To which she responds,
"Think you got the world by the short hairs, don't you, Floyd?"
Gross. Bert joins them. Hey, so we're all standing real close to each other right here, huh? I'm here for it. Bert is upset because he used to date Beth in high school and he never matured past the age of 12. Jess's friend in this episode seems to be Beth. They catch up and she asks Jess if she's ever fallen in love overnight.
Well, I certainly fell hard once.
Down the stairs, actually. It really hurt. Beth's friends make small talk.
Beth told me that you didn't have any folks, Charlie.
That is the weirdest sentence I've ever heard. All I can imagine is that he just never had any parents, he just manifested out of nowhere. Total medical mystery. Sheriff Metzger also introduces himself, and we learn that he is in charge of the Cabot Cove Caroliers, and I cannot wait to see this man sing. Everyone parts ways, agreeing to meet up at another shindig the next night. As Jess and Seth get aggressively pelted with leaves, Seth tells her he doesn't really like Christmas due to something that happened to him when he was 10 years old.
What happened when you were 10?
I killed a man. He explains that one year he opened a present before Christmas Day expecting to find a train set, but instead he sees socks and underwear. Classic.
Jess, I don't think you can understand how incredibly disappointing that is for a 10-year-old.
Okay, reel it in, buddy. Now in this shot, the framing of the swan is very important. Because of this incident, Seth no longer believes in Christmas, because he got socks and underwear when he was 10. Popped collar Charlie gets into his car and notices a gift. He opens it right away and it's a cassette tape of Willie Nelson. Alright, let's get some On the Road Again going.
I know the game you're playing, unless you want me to blow the whistle. Be at Sally's Landing at 10 tonight.
My god. Willie Nelson is trying to blackmail me! Beth joins him in the car and spots the tape, wanting to play it, but he stops her with kisses. Sorry, baby. Willie Nelson just really gets me going. He listens to the tape again, pondering what he should do. Jess makes a stop at the hardware store to purchase some wrapping paper.
Hi, Amy.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Nelson.
Wait, Willie Nelson? Jess spies Amy listening in to her boss's phone call. Those kids with their landlines. The next day, everyone is decorating the community center for a toy drive. Amy has to leave early and bumps into a salty Wanda on the way out.
Amy, leaving so early?
I showed her. The episode then makes sure to explain that Wanda is in fact a strumpet. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting your kicks where you can, but Beth does and worries Charlie might be sleeping with her. Wanda is on balloon duty for the toy drive and Jess approaches her for some red ones. She sees something in her locker and Wanda reacts completely normally. We also find out that Wanda is colorblind, offering Jess green balloons instead of red. Beth decides to visit Charlie, but instead finds the Willie Nelson blackmail tape. I don't remember this one charting. Hearing Wanda's voice, she is now extra paranoid. Conveniently, there's a motel address written in Charlie's planner, which Beth takes note of. Ugh, this wallpaper, it looks like a Magic Eye book. She gets to the motel just in time to see Charlie greet another woman who strangely looks like Beth. I thought that was her for a moment and got very confused. And now, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Sheriff Metzger Metzger and his caroliers.
Don we now our gay apparel. La 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 la.
Yes, they are performing at the toy drive. It's about as mediocre as you'd expect it to be, but the best part is Metzger conducting the audience? What is he doing? Yes, you at the table, a little louder.
Hey!
For some reason, the committee decided Seth will play Santa this year, even though he is humbugging all over the place.
I'd better get into my Santa Claus suit.
What's that about?
Well, you see, Charlie, Santa Claus is a legendary character who brings presents to all the children. Charlie spots Wanda at the party and follows her, hoping to talk about the cassette tape. He follows her into the locker room where we see Seth in full Santa attire. A gunshot is heard and Seth just ignores it for some reason. Not my problem. Charlie runs into someone in a Santa costume, thinking it's Seth, but they run away. So this woman is dead. She's been shot! Or pelted with blackberry jam, I'm not sure.
She's still alive, fellas, so easy.
Oh shit, she's not dead! Well, that is new for a show titled Murder, She Wrote. It's a Christmas miracle. Wanda,
who did not die,
is taken to the hospital. Jessica notices that whatever was in the locker earlier is not there now. She informs Metzger about it.
Whatever it was, it isn't there now.
Providing a possible motive.
He finally got something. Good job. Just as Charlie is about to explain the motel situation, Bert barges into the building holding a gun with a pencil, claiming it's the murder weapon and saying he found it in the bushes. And really? You're just gonna trust this guy? It turns out to be Charlie's gun. He brought it with him from the military. Seth informs Jessica that Wanda is likely going to make it, and my god, I would do sexual things for one of those muffins. They look so good! Beth is distraught because Metzger arrested Charlie, and really, all evidence does point to him. She tells Jess about the tape and the woman she saw at the motel, but Jess is skeptical it has anything to do with the murder, and she says she's also confused that Wanda would want to blackmail Charlie, seeing as though she barely knew him. We then get an increasingly confusing scene about how Wanda was the executive assistant and bookkeeper for the city council, but at some point the books were off and the city pension account went missing, and it's a lot.
The book said one thing, but the banks and the SNL quarterlies that I got said something else. Between the pension account and the short-term CDs and the $100,000. Oh, the junker wasn't the problem. It's when I got back from Tokyo, there was something screwy with the short-term CDs with banks. And halfway through the summer, I think Wanda recorded something role.
Long story short, Wanda could have known about the embezzlement, and maybe that provoked the attack. Jessica decides to see who is at the motel and get some answers, which you'd think is the job of the police, but Metzger is too busy singing and being wrong about stuff.
Hey!
She learns that this woman is actually Charlie's sister, Monica. Jess is relieved, then this child enters the room. Jess asks her if it's her daughter.
No, this is Belinda. Charlie's little girl.
With you? Or Monica explains that when he was in the army, Charlie had a girlfriend. She got pregnant while he was stationed out of the country and died in childbirth, so Monica stepped in. For whatever reason, Charlie never told Beth, his new fiance, about the baby. And how do you hide a whole-ass kid from your long-term partner? How? Jess realizes that Wanda probably wasn't going to blackmail Charlie about something like this, and then the epiphany.
Of course.
The kid did it. Time for a good old-fashioned sting. Jess calls Floyd and asks him to meet her at the city center to talk about those missing pension funds, which is great because that means Jess would have had to known that Amy would eavesdrop. She asks him to bring a copy of Wanda's locker key because they own masters, but oops, instead of the key, he brings a gun. When Floyd gets there, a very dolled up Amy approaches him. She states that she knew Wanda was going to blackmail him, as he was the embezzler. So she shot Wanda to protect him because she allegedly loves him. She says she'll keep his secret if he bonks her, which he isn't down with. Then the police get there. So how did Jess realize that Charlie wasn't the one who was meant to be blackmailed? Because the balloons!
What?
Yeah, strap in, this one's a doozy. Jessica remembered that Wanda mixed up the red and green balloons, and also remembered that Charlie and Floyd's cars were also red and green. She simply put the tape in the wrong car. Silly Wanda. I knew they put that little scene about the wrong balloons in there for some reason, but even if you gave me 100 years, I would have never come to that conclusion. Since Floyd never got the tape, he never met with Wanda to talk, so she called him directly, and that's when Amy overheard. Talk about shooting her shot! Oh good, another holiday party. Seth reveals that Wanda doesn't die, making this the only episode of Murder, She Wrote that doesn't have an actual murder. Charlie comes clean about his kid, Jess gives Seth a toy train, and the Caroliers are back!
We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Why does every one of these singers have a terrible expression on their face, like everyone has some dark secret? Look at these people and tell me they aren't planning something evil. Okay, final thoughts. Well, I can see why people found this episode confusing. There are a lot of red herrings, a lot of weird motives, all set to a Christmas theme, though I can't say I would want to make this a part of my holiday watch list or anything. They did try to stay in the Christmas spirit by having Wanda live, so that's nice, I guess, though it is odd not to have Jess solving a murder. There were also so many characters floating around that nobody really shined, not even Jess. I also can't help but notice that this plot is nearly identical to the one used in Lovers and Other Killers. You remember that one, right? With creepy but continuously horny David Tolliver. Same conclusion too. Woman is in love with her boss, ends up killing someone, another woman they've been romantically involved with, to protect them. Lovers and Other Killers was more exciting in my opinion. This one is severely lacking in sharp-chinned stalkers. I'm actually way more invested in Metzger's side hustle as leader of the Caroliers. Where's that episode? Hey! I hope I was able to explain this confusing episode for you, Mike. It's been my pleasure to riff on this bonkers, almost holiday-themed episode of Murder, She Wrote. If there's an episode you are dying to see me cover, please leave a suggestion in the comments. I love untangling them for you all, and as always, happy sleuthing. Hey everyone, thanks again for watching me break down this weird and anti-thrilling episode of Murder, She Wrote. Happy non-holidays! If you'd like to see more from me, I have plenty, but first I want to thank my patrons for supporting me and the channel and helping me to buy the exact cat food that my cat likes because she will only eat Fancy Feast with gravy. She's very picky. If you want to contribute to me and the channel, please consider donating a few bucks, and if not, comments and likes are also groovy. If you want to see more from me, here's a couple recommendations on the screen. On the right, you will find another thrilling episode of That Time on Murder, She Wrote, and on the left you will find a review of the lackluster rom-com Pizza My Heart. What a play on words. Thanks again for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.